Morning, boys. Got
Good
Ocean back
morning.
this week.
Yay. What's good?
How you
Yeah,
doing,
all
man?
good.
Where were you last week, actually? I can't remember now. Were you traveling somewhere?
Yeah. I just did like a really, really quick trip to LA. I
Oh
was
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
there
that
for
was just a
literally a
quick casual
weekend
trip.
and then flew back.
The
nice.
life, man. The life of Ocean.
Unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah. Was it for work, like sessions and stuff,
Nah,
DJ
it was
sets?
it was something really random. I just had to help a friend out with
Right.
Oh,
something.
Okay.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I know that sounds mad cryptic, but
It's Kyle Beats.
I had to just I had to. It was really, really last minute. Literally, I woke up, hit the
Mm,
gym, then I got a message, and then I just kind of just got home, went to the airport, flew out.
no way.
Damn. Just like
Yeah.
that.
Would you have wanted to stay there for a bit longer?
Um. Well, to be honest, I'm going back again in about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So when
Right.
I go back, I can do it properly. Get meet people again, network,
Yeah.
work, all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
I guess that one will be different to the last time then, because you're in like a new space musically, aren't you? So I'm
Yeah,
guessing the
true,
sessions will be a bit different this time.
true. To be honest, though, I'm open to doing anything. I don't mind working
Right.
with rappers and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
you're right, definitely kind of a different lane.
Mm-hmm. You'd have
Have you got
liked
like
Warehouse
a?
Project. I was
How
just at
was
Warehouse
that?
Project on Saturday.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
was good, yeah, but like for those places, because it's literally just fall to the floor all night.
Mm.
It's like you can hack it for a bit, but because I was pretty much sober. It was like, yeah, we didn't last all night anyway. We were gone by like half one, half two. We saw like the start
Yeah.
of Peggy Goo. We just wanted to stay to see her because I didn't know anyone else that was on,
hmm
and she was doing it back to back with someone else. I forgot his name though. Saw her for like a little bit, but then my girl was just a bit tired, so she was like, she would
Yeah,
bounce.
I understand that. What time did you get there?
Maybe like 9:30 or something,
hmm
between 9 and 10. So yeah, when you walk around in a place like that, it's just like a pure rave in it. So everyone's fucked up. It's
hmm
like you're gonna have a good time if you fucked up all night because no one's even listening to music; they're just feeling the vibes all night.
Yeah.
But when you're kind of
Yeah.
sober and you're taking everything in,
hmm
it's a different experience. But I still
And
enjoyed it. It's still like fun.
and it's not as fun if you don't know anyone or any of the songs or any of the DJs
Exactly.
and yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because sometimes they do nights where yeah you'll have like some house and stuff, but then you'll have some I don't know you'll have maybe some rappers on there or just some artists that you know. But this was just like strictly DJs, no
hmm
artists. It was just a bit heavy, man. I can't lie. It was like
Yeah.
very like techno heavy.
Wow.
So,
I,
but
I
no,
did
it was good
see
though.
I did see a vlog of a DJ who played it and it looked
Oh,
crazy.
really?
It looked like there was tons of people there.
Yeah, there was. It was big. It was Boiler Room as well. So I've always wanted to do a Boiler Room.
Oh, that's cool.
I've always watched Boiler Rooms on YouTube, but just never
Yeah.
been to one. So it was cool to actually experience one.
hmm
Because on like Boiler Rooms, like you see in the videos, don't you, where everyone's just kind of stood around the DJs. So obviously you've got the main section in front of you, but then you can just like walk up and like stand behind the DJ and just chill around there for a bit. So it was sick.
hmm
But I think you'd appreciate it more if you like, for someone like you who's really tapped into that scene.
hmm Yeah, one
But
day I definitely would like to try the Warehouse Project because I always hear about it. I've just never
they are
been.
legendary. They're definitely legendary. You see some sights there as well. Everyone's just
Oof,
fucked up.
I can imagine.
Especially when you're sober, you see everything that's going on as well. Because when I used to go, like, I'd be in with that crowd, so you don't even really notice it. But then
Don't
now that you're
notice.
sober, observing it, you just see some mad shit. People just
Mm.
walk around with the tops off, like people fainting on the floor, like getting
Oh
carried
my
out.
god.
Yeesh.
It just gets a bit crazy.
I heard you guys are slightly ill as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
because of Eros, man. Like I was drinking, I just didn't really get like. It takes me quite a bit to get drunk, man. I feel like so I was drinking all night, shots and everything, but I still
hmm
felt all right. But then a couple of days later, I'm like, I feel run down, man. So I don't know if it's
Mm.
because I was drinking. It's just like messed up my immune system, but yeah, I'm getting through it.
Yeah, same as well, man. I'm
You
not
ill
like
too?
I
You
wouldn't
too.
say I'm ill, but I haven't been 100% this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's because of the travel.
Mm.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it's bound to be something on the plane or something. It's always like some guy that's ill on the plane. It's
Yeah.
super spreader.
Mm. It's
Everyone's
funny
been
how we
getting
all
COVID
get it at
again
the same
recently.
time.
I know,
Yeah.
all three of us.
It's always like beginning of winter, like autumn, and then it's like in the lead up to summer. It's like those two
Yeah.
times, and then after that, you're kind of good.
I don't know why that is, because being cold doesn't actually make you ill, does it?
Nah,
I thought that was a myth.
it's just bacteria, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
So
I don't know.
it's weird. It's like, as soon as it gets to winter, everyone starts getting ill. But yeah,
Yeah,
here we are.
yeah, yeah. That's it. But yeah, what's new with you? What's new with you anyway, Hushan? Anything new?
Nothing really, to be honest with you. Just feel like I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things again. But next week I'm traveling again, so I mean, it's like gonna get back in the swing of things to get out the swing of things.
Yeah,
So I'm just trying to do what I can, if that makes sense.
yeah.
What is next week not the LA one? Or are you going somewhere else first?
Nah, so next week I'm gonna go to Amsterdam for a week for this event called Amsterdam Dance Event, ADE.
Right.
It's like a huge, probably the biggest event of the year for electronic music. They've got concerts and events every single night, multiple, but really it's just a chance for people to network. So you go there really to meet labels, to meet A&Rs, to meet managers, DJs, and just a week of networking basically. And then, yeah, the nice thing is there's always something on. So I've been looking through the timetable, and there's like 6, 7, 8 sometimes things to choose from at night to go to.
Sick.
So it's just gonna be a busy week. Just literally just gonna pull up on people, network, do all that kind of stuff, and then the following week I'm in LA.
So is it like a rave as well, or a festival or something?
Yeah, literally. It's like daytime they've got talks and conferences,
Oh, okay.
and then nighttime, well, even during the daytime too,
Yeah.
performances all over the city.
Right. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, that's pretty sick. I was trying to think how people balance networking and partying, because you go to those raves, like everyone just wants to get twisted, but then if you're trying to network as well, you got to
I was looking online,
stay on your game.
At like people's experiences and stuff, and apparently everyone just says like there's no chance that you're gonna be able to do everything that you think you're gonna do. So you just have to try, and even though you might say you're gonna party for 2 hours so you can wake up early, you're probably not, just because like you never know what's gonna happen. So
Yeah,
just take it day by day.
yeah. I guess by the end of it, everyone's
And you're there for the
no
full
one's
week
no
as
one's
well.
trying to network. Everyone's hungover. Everyone's like, I'm not networking anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there for the week.
That'll be sick.
Yeah.
Like, Amsterdam's known for its raves and parties like that as well. I've been to Amsterdam twice, but I've never done like a festival or a rave. I've just more. It was more for like first time was just, I guess, like coffee shops, and then second time was a stag do. So we were just walking around everywhere. Really, we didn't have anything booked.
Yeah.
The last time we went was the Jack trip. You know, when we did the producers versus producers. That was a good stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed out on that one. That would have been joke.
Yeah, Amsterdam was good. It was just the only thing was that we was like so far away from the city. It was like a 45-minute Uber every day, like in and out. So we had to make sure we just kind of we just had to kind of hang around even when we didn't have stuff on, and then head back, later on in the night. But it was good though. Like it was a sick trip.
Yeah. I suppose if you're just going to a place like Dam, you might as well you want to be in Dam, don't you?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
45 minutes out the way. It just seems, it just longs everything out, I guess. You might save a bit of money on accommodation, but then you pay for the little taxis. So
Yeah,
might
exactly.
as well just pay for a place
that's
in the
exactly what
city.
happened.
Was it?
Yeah, because I don't think Amsterdam is that cheap. I think we were spending about 80 euros one way.
Yeah,
Uber.
to get.
Yeah, so it's like 160 a day on Ubers.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was steep. And then we got to a point towards the end, was like no one wanted to book an Uber because everyone was like, we'll transfer it, and then everyone was like, someone would like forget to transfer, and then obviously it had to come all out of someone's bank to begin with. So it was like, oh, fuck it out.
No one wants to be that guy. You don't want to chase people down for money.
Yeah, exactly.
And Apple releasing that tap to pay thing. Did you see that? They're gonna, unless it was just like speculations, but yeah, obviously you can do it in Uber, but then you know, like just with like your Face ID, you may not like be able to like tap phones to like receive money because everyone's got their Apple Pay set up.
Oh.
So as long as you've got Apple Pay set up, you can just like tap and then I guess you write the amount or whatever it is. Just make it, it's supposed to make it easier for people to just split things like that and just transfer money.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's really good.
I guess because, I don't know, whenever we use Uber, we never use the split feature. It's always...
Yeah, I don't know why.
I'll transfer you, I'll transfer you. Yeah.
Yeah. Those famous last words.
Yeah, honestly.
What's new with you, LB?
No, I was just saying to Jay, I'm dropping the kit tomorrow, so just been getting some stuff ready for that. Getting the, you know, like the video to go live when it goes live and all that stuff, like normal routine. And then finally started doing work with Dark Label. Like, I've actually started doing the outreach stuff. Well, I'm doing inbound stuff at the minute because he basically just had me send an email out to my list just to see if I can get any artists from there. Which I didn't think I had any, but I sent an email out. He gave me like a template to send out with like basically just saying I've got spots for the subject, and in the email it was saying like I'm looking for new artists to work with. If you meet this criteria, drop me a reply. So I did all that. Look, like surprisingly got quite a few replies. Got about 40-50 people come forward. So I've just sent them invites to jump on a call. And then they're slowly booking in calls, and then after that he wants me just to get straight into doing some sales calls with them because I don't have to go through the whole process because they're inbound. So we're just doing that to begin with, and then we'll do some other stuff later. But yeah, it's going all right, man. Just busy. Busy.
Exciting.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to be on these calls. It's going to be totally different. It's not going to be like a normal like standard call. There's like a whole
There's a whole
process.
script, right?
Yeah, kind of a script. It's more of like like phases, you know, like you start off just small talk, get to know the person, and then you sort of go in, ask questions, and then you go into like if there's any issues there, like any like actual problems they're having, then you can go into like, you know, pitching a service.
It's like a full pitch, isn't it? But you're still trying to keep it natural. Because sometimes you can get like a pitch that is clearly too salesy, but you said that that whole process is not like that. It's more just like, it's just a way more natural thing, like no pressure, but still you start pitching yourself in a way.
Yeah, it's just framing it so like it is paid work. And then, but at the same time, you're not just like selling a product. It's more like you're selling us like solutions to like any issues they're having. So that's the whole point of the call. You just like, you know, what you're having issues with are like, could be the mixing or like the vocal recording. Then like I don't know what I'm doing with the marketing. So like you just find out all these pain points, and then at the end you're like, okay, well we can start off step 1, we can do this. Step 2, we can figure out the vocal recording. Step 3, we can go through, you know, once the song's done, we can help you out with the marketing, and then send them a proposal, leave it with them, give them a certain amount of time to get back, and then just go from there. So
nice. 'Cause, I guess everyone's package will be different. Like not everyone's struggling with the same thing. Kind of reminds me of like I've got friends who do online coaching, and they follow a similar process where they're actively trying to find like obviously people to coach, but their first step is to get them on a call, and they'll discuss the same things, like what they're struggling with, like what areas do they want to improve, and then they'll tailor a program to them. I can see like a similar thing in that sense. Yeah,
it's pretty much the exact same system. It kind of works across like most niches. It's just being like more solution based and getting clients that way. And I think it just seems to be more realistic especially for like producers that are fairly new. They're good at making music, but they're just not like got big enough to start, you know, making a living selling, you know, kits and stuff like that. So
of course. Do you know how much you want to charge? I guess like each project's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna
like
vary.
How much do you want to charge for beats? Let's say like obviously it's going to be on a project basis. Yeah,
It
that's
totally
another thing.
depends. It depends on your economics. So like that's one thing you kind of work out before you figure out your pricing, because it's just kind of maths.
Yeah,
It's not really like kind of like what you want to charge. You kind of figure out what the bare like the base is that you can charge to the point where like you can actually you can actually live off of it. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, you just have me write down all my outgoings, all my incoming, or like all my incomes. Sorry, incomings. What am I talking about? Um, and you just kind of work off of and how many hours you work a week, and then you just do a little quick sum, and then you just work out how much your hourly rate would be, and then
yeah,
from that you can just work out how much minimum like you'd need to charge per project to to make a living off of, basically.
got ya.
But it's around like it varies, but it's around like 1 to 3, 4, 5K. It just depends on the level of the artist and what they need. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
Oh, what do you think? Because I'm sure you get this question from people a lot. Like I've had quite a few people ask me how much they should sell their beats for. You know, like when it comes to exclusives, for example, let's say a rapper just hits them up on Instagram and they're like, I want this beat at how much? What do you think people should charge? I know it's such an open question because it's different for everyone, but what do you normally say to people? Just for a beat. So not like a whole, like, we're going to be mixing, doing everything. It's just like,
Just the
right,
rights
bro, I
to
want
the
this beat. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. My opinion changed after I spoke to that Kicks. You remember Kicks
Mhm.
came on?
Oh, yeah.
Because he was like, he doesn't sell them at all on his BeatStars. If they really want it, then you have to reach out manually.
Right.
But he said he wouldn't let them go for any less than like I think it was like 10K or something, or 5K.
For exclusives.
Yeah, just because he was like, his point, his argument was that the beat could make more than that through leases, and then he can prove it. So
Yeah.
that's why it has to be that price. Otherwise, it's not worth his time. It's not worth him getting like losing. He's gonna lose money basically if he doesn't sell it for that price point. But like you say, it's such a wishy-washy thing to sell exclusives, and like the price is always going to be different for everyone. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think if someone's hitting you up for exclusives, that means they really want that beat. So I'd say no less than $1,000. Depends on the artist size, I guess, but no less than $1,000. What would you guys say?
I
Yeah.
think it's very nuanced. It really, really depends.
Yeah,
And it depends on where you're at as well,
yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah, I think. Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say, like, if I have no attention on that beat and I'm really not doing anything with it, and it's just one that's just been sitting on my hard drive for a very long time, maybe I created it like 5 years ago, and someone just randomly wants it, maybe I will just sell it for really cheap and not think much of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it could be that I do sell it cheap because I'll get more in the back end as well.
Yeah.
And maybe I just really want that opportunity. But then I guess, yeah, I agree with Kicks too. If you're proven that you can make 5K a beat just from beat leasing, so there's no point selling it for a K. You're doing yourself a disjustice. So
Yeah.
really depends.
It's tricky. It's really tricky.
Yeah.
But I think like, if we were to give any proper advice, it'd be literally that, like, just look at where you're at, look at your numbers. If you're selling lots of beats, then you can kind of, again, it's just maths at the end of the day, just figure out how much on average you can make per beat, and then like over its lifetime, and then you can kind of work out your pricing that way. And then you want to look at it, if it's for a big placement, if you're getting back end on it, see what the back ends could be like, and then again negotiate your pricing based off of that. But I think when we say cheap, try not to make it super, super cheap. Not like $50 for an exclusive. You want to at least be upwards of $1,000.
10 beats
minimum.
for $30. No,
All
that's not
exclusives. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
So-
of that for exclusives, definitely. But it's literally, like you said, it's just depends on your situation. Like, obviously, Kicks, he's got that YouTube channel to back him, so he's got the figures to prove what his beats are worth. But for a lot of people, they might have been uploading a few beats to YouTube, not really getting any sales, and then someone hits them up with an exclusive offer for, let's say, like $300. For them, it might be like, you know what, it's the first beat. It's my first sale. I might take it. I could do with that money. And I don't really see a problem with that if it's like, if they're very early on and they've got no figures to back what they're doing and it's like their first sale. It's like, what, if you need that money, then fuck it, it's 300. Like next year, you're going to have beats that are way better than that one if you're early on in the game.
Yeah.
So it does just vary. And like Osha said, if you're working with someone who is going to offer something bigger on the back end, let's say if someone hits you up and it's like, oh, I know your beats are usually 1,000, but I've got this $500, but I'm willing to give you 50% on the master side, so we'll split it on DistroKid and everything. Then you might be like, all right, let me look at this guy's profile. He's getting a decent amount of streams, so maybe there is something to get from that. Because that's the other thing. Like, people will say, I haven't got the money for this beat, but I'll split everything with you 50-50. But then if you look on their Spotify, they're not getting any streams, so it's not going to make any money.
Make
so you're just kind of like hoping that they do something well. So I think just looking at it realistically, if they're saying they're going to pay you with streams, then are they making any money with streams? Check that. And yeah, do you need that money in that moment? Is that a beat that's getting traction on YouTube, or is it one that's just been stale on there for a while? So
yeah,
different ways of looking at it.
Yeah,
pretty much spot on there.
Well, I remember being really confused about it at first. Like, I remember when I first started uploading beats, I got an offer for an exclusive for like $100. I was like, I'm not sure what to do. Like, what if this beat pops off on YouTube? Like, I really didn't know what to do. But it was like one of my first sales, so I was just like, fuck it, I'll sell it. I really wanted like that first sale. And then if I didn't do that, I don't know, beat might not have gone anywhere. And it's just would have collected dust.
Yeah.
Like, think about how many beats we've made, like some of those old ones that are just sat there. Like, if someone wants it 3 years later for a low fee, then why not? If it's not got any traction on YouTube, no one's
just a dead
showed
beat.
any interest in it before, then fuck it.
Yeah. And I think like some people think, okay, like, well, what if I sold the exclusives and then the song went like #1? And it is a possibility, but I think like the chances of it happening is so low, unless it's like, because like when a song blows up, like the artist is normally at least got a little bit of clout, a little bit of traction. They've got something going, some kind of momentum. They've dropped hundreds of songs prior to that. It's not like their first release. So if you see an artist that comes through and they send you an offer and it's like a lower price, obviously do your due diligence. And if you think it could be one of those artists that could blow, then you can figure it out that way. But at the same time, it's like, don't worry about it at the beginning. You know, if it's the first few beats that you're selling exclusively, like don't worry too much.
Well, even when you when you sell an exclusive, you're not signing over every single right? Because even if it goes #1, you're still going to get paid on the back end anyway.
You still get publishing,
yeah. And if it's #1, typically it's going to be way more than you would have ever got in an advance up front anyway, right?
It should be. If you've handled it right, you can negotiate the publishing. I just say never give up all of your publishing. Even when you buy an exclusive, technically you're still leasing it. You're not handing over the rights to your beat, because if you hand over the rights to your beat, that means that person could resell that beat and upload it to BeatStars and start selling it. You're not actually handing over the rights. You're just giving them an exclusive lease, which means that you can no longer sell that to anyone else, and you know they can record with it and then monetize their master recording of it, but they don't actually like own the beat in a sense. So yeah, you can still claim on the back end.
So you should still definitely get paid on the back end. So it shouldn't matter too much anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just be careful when people send you offers on BeatStars and they'll say like, because a lot of people don't understand how publishing and stuff works, but you'll get an offer and it'll be like whatever the amount is, and then they'll put 0% publishing. So never accept those, like, because then
that's the most important.
Yeah, then you're messing everything up. One thing that I do a lot though is when people reach out and they'll make an offer for like $400, for example, for an exclusive. I might look, and if it's a beat that's maybe sold a few leases or it's getting some traction on YouTube, I tend to talk them into buying an unlimited lease, because I think a lot of people just don't actually realize what the difference in leases are. So for example, like some people think if they buy an unlimited lease and then if someone else buys an exclusive, then it means they can't do anything with that song then. But
you know what I think it might be?
Yeah.
I think artists might be scared to put a lot of investment into a song knowing that someone else also has that beat and could potentially make another song with it.
Yeah. That's the only reason that you should want an exclusive. Just if you're really adamant that you don't want anyone else to use that beat, then okay, an exclusive for you. But if you're not really worried about that and you're just worried about you getting like a cap on streams or your song might get taken down one day, then you can still just pay like $99 for an unlimited, and then do everything with that. Because you could always look at exclusives further down the line if it was really needed. But yeah, but like you said, if you're adamant that no one else should have that beat or be able to use it in the future, then yeah, exclusives the way.
How did your launch go?
Man,
yeah,
good, man. Yeah, really good, to be honest. It was the best one we've had in a while. Best one, like, so the first ever one I did was the Divine bundle. That's still the top performer, but I think that was like the first big bundle that I did, so there was a lot of hype around that. And then this has outperformed the 3 after that, so like the Boom Bap one and the second, or the 2 other drill ones that I did. So yeah, it's gone good, to be honest. The launch week's over now, so I just need to see how things go. Like, obviously after the launch week and the price goes up, then it naturally dips off because there's not as much emphasis on it because you get all the bonuses and the discount and everything in launch week, so it will naturally dip off. But yeah, it was a successful launch, so I was definitely happy with it.
Yes, man.
Yep.
Just got to keep pushing it. And I've been getting into ads as well recently. You know, I was just having problems with Facebook for ages. I finally managed to actually create a new account and set up like a whole new Facebook page and personal account and set up some ads. So that's like my next task, to be sick at ads, essentially.
Yeah. How's that going so far? Have you started running stuff? I think I got one of your ads actually the other day. Yeah.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah, so like story ads. Yeah.
Did you buy it?
I was sold straight away. I was like, scroll up.
To be fair, they worked really well. I ran them for that launch week, and they worked really well. Like, because it was a new Facebook account, I could only put so much into it. They give you like a daily limit. It started at like 20 and then 40 or something. So I could only put in like 40 a day for the week, but it was bringing back a lot more than I was putting in. So it was a successful week. And now I've had to set up a new campaign because the offer's different. So I literally just set that up last night. So I'm going to give it like a few days and then look at it. Because I'm testing loads of different stuff. I'm testing like 4 different ads and like 3 different audiences. So there's like 12 ad sets running. So I need to look at it after a few days and see which one's performing. But it's promising. Nice. Like, it's working well.
Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, it'd be kind of helpful, like long term. Yeah, for sure. Like, you'd have to worry too much about having to keep pumping out kits and doing all the manual organic marketing. You can just set some stuff up and kind of leave it running.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you can find that one ad that just performs well, then you can just leave it for a while and maybe even put more money into it and then just check it every few days. And then if it stops performing well, then you can turn it off and then figure out a new plan. But the thing I'm learning with Facebook ads is just like hella testing. Just like test different audiences, different ad sets, different copy. Like, it's quite intense to like set up and do all the different ones. Although these days it doesn't take like as long as it used to, but once you've set up like that first one, you can just let them run, and then after a week you can look at it and be like, oh, this audience isn't performing well, let me turn that off. This audience is doing great, let me maybe put a bit more of the budget into that one.
And how are you learning how to do all this? Or are you just kind of figuring it out as you go?
I did learn a bit a while back. I think I did a small course a while back, and then I watched some like YouTube videos, so I remembered some stuff from before. I just had to like refresh my memory. And then obviously like I have data already from like my list, and what else was I using? You can create lookalike audiences, for example, so you can import your existing list and create a lookalike audience. And then with the way like Facebook is these days, you can like leave it quite broad just for Facebook to kind of gather the information and work out what their what the target audience is in a way. But you have to let that run for a while. So yeah, just YouTube tutorials, like a course from a while back, and that's it, to be honest. After that, it's like just testing and testing.
Yeah, I did see, I can't remember where I saw it, but yeah, I did see something like that where it's like, where you set up an ad, you just have to leave it as broad as possible. I was about to ask like how targeted you was leaving it, but yeah, I did see that like as long as you've got like your pixel set up and everything, you just literally leave it as broad as possible, and then Facebook kind of works it out itself.
Yeah, if you've got your pixel set up, then it'll collect the data, and you want to test a few different ones. So test one against like your visitors, your audience. Test one against like general people, and then I tested one against people that have interests in like DAWs, for example, like FL Studio and Logic. Some of the broad ones didn't actually perform like too well, but it could be down to like the actual ad that you're using as well. I think if you're making like user generated content where it's like you talking your face, that can like work well with your audience because they resonate with you and like they already know you, so that can work pretty well. But then for the others, like the more broad ones, you have to be a bit more strategic. I think that's what I'm learning about like the ad anyway. So it all comes down to like the actual targeting and then the content that's going on there as well.
Yeah, it's a whole new game. It's fun though. I think it's nice to just expand, try something new.
Yeah, I quite like it. It's quite fun. I don't actually mind the marketing part because when you see some stuff like starting to work, then you get like a little dopamine hit and you're like, okay.
Definitely.
You see the numbers go up. So it's good, but yeah, it's obviously like sort of time consuming to learn and set up.
Are you doing it with Heat or are you just doing it by yourself?
Yeah, just by myself. They're not having anything to do with ads. So it's just me learning this.
Yeah. Yeah, not too bad, man.
Mm-hmm.
You thought about doing ads, Ocean, for anything? Have you thought about putting money into like paid promotion for tracks, like for your tracks?
Yeah, I've been learning a lot about that kind of stuff for when I start dropping songs. But my ad account just got banned and I could start a new one. But the thing is, I've just been a bit lazy because on my old account, I had all my pixels set up, all my audiences set up, and it was just collecting data, like website visitors over 6 months or whatever. But because I can't run ads on that account, I can't access any of that, so I'd have to redo it all. So I've just been very slow to do it.
Yeah.
But
that was my problem as well, man. It's worth it though.
Yeah, I definitely want to do it. I haven't run ads for my music production stuff, but back in the day, I used to run ads heavy.
Yeah, I remember you running ads for Elements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Element stuff, it didn't really work. But like 10 years ago, when I used to sell like random shit online, I was running ads like every day, just in Facebook ads. And I kind of I wouldn't say I miss it, but it was fun, Like Jay said, when you might get like 10 that don't hit, but you get the one ad that hits, and that one ad just goes to the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah, it's interesting. Is there anything
definitely
like
a good skill to learn.
Yeah.
I'd recommend anyone learn it, even if it's not for your music production, but just in general, if you have a product that you want to sell, you can really just drive traction and see and get some eyeballs on it.
Yeah. I think people forget about ads, don't they? Because like, especially new producers that say like they're working a job and they're producing, they're trying to like obviously make producing take over. If you've got the money there, you may like the spare money, just put it into ads. Yeah,
money that you're willing to lose.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't take your last grand and put it in ads, because if you're not afraid to lose it, and that's all you got, then it could be painful. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Because people think you can just boost a post on Instagram, put $1,000 into it, and then it's gonna take off.
No,
but you should never just boost a post on Instagram. I think it's never worked out before. You need to get way more like targeted with it.
Yeah, for sure. Just do your homework. Make sure your economics are right. Even if it's a little amount. Go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to ask if you guys have ever tried other ad platforms like Google or TikTok or Twitter.
Did TikTok for a bit.
Did it work?
I don't know. Like, I just did it to grow.
Okay.
But, and if I look at it now, it hasn't worked. They got more views, got the videos and like the content more views. But yeah, nothing significant. I didn't really see anything crazy from it.
I've never tried TikTok. I think I've maybe done one Google ad, just a very small one, just to test it, just to get familiar with the platform. But I never like tested anything proper. Do you know what? Those past like 6 months or however long I didn't have my Facebook ad account, I should have just focused on Google ads, because that platform's there as well. I think I was just so like attached to my Facebook account being banned and wanted to get that fixed and start running Facebook ads, because I spend a lot of my time on like Instagram and stuff as well. I thought, all right, maybe I thought that was like the one for me to learn. But yeah, I think I want to spend a bit more time practicing with Facebook ads, and then I'm definitely going to look at like Google ads as well.
Mm.
Have
Oh
you
yeah,
tried it once?
I was gonna say I've tried YouTube ads briefly. It was when YouTube added the promote thing directly through the studio, like you could just set it up through YouTube.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it was weird. It boosted the subs like crazy, and the views went up on that specific video. But I don't know if it was like legit. I mean, it can't have been. I thought it was not legit subs because it was kind of like didn't affect the viewership. But I'm like, if I'm promoting it directly through YouTube, it can't be like like dead channels, where people just pay for
Yeah.
subscribers. So yeah, it was kind of a weird process setting up ads through YouTube.
So were you doing it directly in the editor where you go to promotions, and not doing it through like Google ads? Okay.
Yeah, but like the targeting and stuff was all there. So like if you go onto your studio and then go on the video that you want to promote, just type click promote. You can just go through and target everything you want to target, country, interests, and all that.
Yeah.
So I did that, left it kind of broad, and then the pay per view, like the amount per view, is the most expensive in like UK and US and stuff like that. So this guy did some testing and he found like a few countries where it was super cheap, and one of them luckily was a country that my channel reaches the most anyway. Okay. So I just targeted that one, and it was cheap to boost the viewership, and the subs went up quite a lot, but it didn't, like, once they stopped, the viewership just went straight back to normal. It wasn't like those new subscribers stuck around, it was kind of strange.
Maybe it was like the quality of the viewers that just wasn't there.
Yeah, maybe. But I was just confused about the subs thing, because I was like, the subs went up, but then like the viewership kind of didn't change at all. So I was just like, don't know if it was, just the like I say, the quality of the viewer. They subscribed, but then they probably just subscribed to everything and then never go back to anything. So
if you listen to, I don't know if you boys have read it yet, but Gary Vee's latest book, is it Day Trading Attention?
Oh yeah.
So his whole concept is obviously pump out your organic content, and then the videos that are performing well, they're the ones you want to use for your ads, but you need to repurpose them. So say you have a video that's just outperforming like all your other recent ones, or even like past videos, it might be like, well something's working about that video, people liked that. So then you can take that and maybe change the copy in it, or maybe add like a segment, for example, where you're pushing a kit. That's what I'm just trying to think of anyway. So that's one way you could look at it. Just have a look back through all your videos and see which one banged, and then sort of repurpose that into an ad. And that's something I didn't actually do for this trap suite, because it was a new kit and I haven't used it in videos. So I don't really know how to repurpose anything in the past. But that's something I'm going to do, like moving forward. Like once I start to see some videos perform well, then somehow like turn it into an ad.
Could you go back and do that for your older bundles? Like some of your older ones that you've used in a lot of videos since they dropped.
Yeah, I think so.
And you see, definitely. For your ads that were working, did you run an ad directly to the product in terms of, like, for example, it wasn't just like directing people to the wait list, you was directing them to buy, like straight from the ad?
Yeah, this was pure conversions, purchases. So sending them straight to the landing page, and then the whole aim was purchases.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
But yeah, you could do it with other products, but I just wanted to focus on the new one for now. But as I like start to learn and test other things, then I'll start going back and testing some of the older ones.
Yeah.
But it does just take up time, man. I remember like last time we were on the podcast, I was like, I need to spend the next few months just focusing on music, and then straight away I've been like,
ads.
now I'm like zoned in on ads. Yeah. And then yesterday I was like cooking up, and I don't know, because I was spending a lot of time on like ads and trying to figure that out. When I went to cooking up yesterday, I just made like the deadest loop ever, and I was like, nah, I really need to start making music again.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I had a weird week in terms of making music. Last week I went to sit down and just nothing was really coming out. Yeah. And then I said to myself, you know what? I've made quite a lot of music recently. I'm actually just gonna take a day off. Then I took a full day off. Then the next day I went to sit down again, and I was like, I'm gonna take the weekend off. Took the weekend off, and like, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna take the week off. Sometimes
So
I feel like I need a bit of a break when I'm just too in the door.
yeah,
It's like I'm
Yeah.
not. It's not that the
Stop
music
thinking about
is.
music.
Yeah, it's not. It's not that it's bad or anything. But sometimes if it feels like it's just not coming out naturally, it's just grinding your gears a
Yeah.
bit too much. So today, the first time I sat down, I did about an hour so far today, and the flow state just came out naturally.
Nice.
do you cook up
Yeah, I hear
first
that.
thing? Like, do you get up, go gym, and then is it the first thing you do at work essentially?
If it's a work thing, I try and make it the first thing because I find it like the most draining
Yeah,
to be creative. So I try and do that rather than like doing emails and stuff like that.
yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
But it's not the first thing I do when I wake up. I usually go work out and that.
Yeah, I just meant like when once you actually sit down to like start your working day, is it
Mm.
the first thing you do at that point?
Hmm.
I always feel like I
Yeah.
need like an hour of procrastinating before I start. Like, say
Yeah,
I'll
just to
get up,
wake
like
up.
go gym, have some food, and then as soon as I sit down, I don't know, I find it hard to like just start music instantly.
Hmm.
I'll like find myself going on YouTube or like checking Instagram or just having a quick like unwind with a coffee.
Yeah,
Unwind before
Yeah.
I've even started my day.
that's
You know what I
that
mean?
was literally this week for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was you know what? Let me just finish this one video. Then that one video turns into three. Then it's
yeah,
like, actually, you know what? When it hits one, I'll start. Then it turns into two.
Yeah.
Then it's just like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
almost like a level of anxiety going into making beats because I don't know, it's like I kind of like put pressure on myself where I'm like, right, I know if I'm gonna get into this, I'm gonna be locked in for like a few hours now, and I know I want to create something good. So then you almost put like a weird pressure on yourself to be like, I don't know, you procrastinate around it because you know it's like an important task, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys get that as well.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
get
think
Yeah,
my mind wants to
definitely.
procrastinate because it knows like what's about to happen and if I'm gonna make
Yeah.
something
But
good or not.
you know what? Like as soon as I sit, most of the time, yeah, as soon as I sit down and actually start creating something, it's really not that bad.
Mm-mm.
Like it just kind of comes out. Maybe, but sometimes, you know, like the first beat the first idea that I start is not good. But then once you hit like the second or the third idea, that's when it really comes together.
Yeah,
But
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
because the first idea it can be so dead sometimes. It's just like, I don't even want to go through that first dead idea.
yeah,
Yeah. Do you know what? They're like,
Yeah.
we all do it in sessions together. Like we know the first beat's gonna be not amazing. Sometimes it is good straight off the rip, but like for the most part, like we go, like we do, like when we're in sessions together, we'll be like, oh, first beat, that's the warm up beat, and then we
Yeah.
get into it. So I don't know why that changes when we're on our own. Like I'm the same. Like you start an idea and if it's shit, you're just like, fuck this, I'm not making any more beats today. Whereas like if
Yeah.
if there's one other person in the room, you'd be like, okay, all right, that one's out of the way, let's move on to the next one, and you just kind of stock up that way.
But do you guys ever get like certain weeks or certain times of the months where everything is just flowing, like everything you're making is just on point, and then some weeks or some times of the months where it's just like it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't
Definitely.
hit this kind of wall often at all, but I did feel like in September songs and tracks was just flowing, and then start of October it just reversed. Nothing was flowing.
Yeah.
I feel that as well,
Yeah,
100%.
definitely have those phases. Yeah. It's kind of
Mine might
happens.
even be more like day to day rather than like,
Yeah.
okay, I've got a week of good stuff and then a week of not feeling it. Mine might be like, okay, today I'm like in it, I'm making some good quality stuff, and then the next day I'm like, this is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah. Mine kind of came when I was making this kit. I was like literally trying to make samples with this preset kit. I'm like, fucking it, am I just being shit or this preset's just not good? And then like the week after I was like, okay, right, I can actually make some stuff now.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be like just the simple stuff that was working. Like I'd spend a lot of time adding lots of layers, and then I made a beat the other day with literally 2 sounds in the melody, just like
hmm
it was just like a string and a flute, and then it sounded sick. So I was like, okay, we're back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I definitely have this one. I think everyone gets that as well.
Mm.
I even
Yeah.
get like you know, like before I think you're right, like after you make like your first one, you're kind of in it then, aren't you? But it's always like that anxiety of getting to the first one because I'm like, oh, I've got no ideas in my head instantly. So I'm not gonna just pull up the same piano that I always use and use the same chords that I always use. It's like a level of stress in your head because you don't have like an instant idea. But once you actually sit down and you start some stuff and then it starts flowing, then you kind of just gradually get into that flow state, don't you?
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, like when I feel like on the days when you can make something good, it's normally off of something else you've heard. So like earlier on in the day, I might hear a song come up, like random one on Spotify, and I'm like, oh, that beat's sick. Then I'm like, oh, I want to go make something like that. And because like you already know roughly what the outcome is kind of gonna aim towards, then you're on it. Like you can easily get into that work state. But like you say, Jay, when you're just straight away like, I'm gonna make a beat, no like prior short-term inspiration. It's just like
no goal essentially.
Yeah, no actual goal. Sometimes it can work, and some people are like thrive off of that. But yeah, for me, and like I don't know about you guys, but like you have to have some kind of reference or some kind of song you've heard or beat or like other beat you've heard like previous to that, where you're like, oh, I want to make something like that today. Kind of get excited to make that song, that kind of style.
Yeah, I'm definitely like that. I need to hear something. Like I'll listen to like type beats or just songs or whatever it is first, and then once something like really catches my attention, I'm like, like how did they make that? What are those sounds? Like what are those chords? And then it kind of inspires you to make something similar. Yeah, but I know like some people are just so creative that they can just like sit down. It's just like anything flows. Like they don't even need to listen to anything. There's no goal. It's just flowing. Yeah, I don't think I'm that creative in that sense.
I'd say like someone like Gami is probably like that. Can just sit down, play some shit, and it just turns out amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And he takes it in so many different directions too.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
I feel like you're quite like that though.
I can
in the sense that you don't need to hear something. You could just like, I don't know, you let it flow a bit more naturally.
I can be, but I definitely do like to use references sometimes. Well, most times as well, actually, just to give it a bit more direction. I like to have the intention of at least like a feeling that I'm trying to go for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does help. Because I think you're right as well. Like if you're in that, if you just without a proper reference, you can kind of stray away from like the vibe you were going for in the first place. So like, yeah, if you're trying to make something smooth and ambient and simple, then you might start off simple, and then you start adding loads of random shit, and it just turns out completely different than you would have thought.
And you know what it is as well, because I'm trying to have more of a purpose for the tracks that I create, or even when it was making beats, having a purpose for the beats. If I have a reference, then I can stick to like a certain framework. It doesn't necessarily have to be like he did the lead like this, so I want to use a lead like this. It's more just like the lead had this kind of feeling, I want to have that same kind of feeling, and I know that maybe in the 16-bar loop there should be a switch kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because if I'm just creating from thin air, it might turn out good. I could just waste 2 hours though, and it might turn into something that I actually can't really use, which is good for creativity and good for just music production for the sake of it, but it's not moving the needle in terms of, if we think about this as a business and as a career. I've spent 2 hours making something that I can't use for anything. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I hear that.
I feel like, do you not feel like when we think of it like that way as well, we're thinking about the business side, we just kind of forget that it is like, it isn't like a reference track isn't just taken from something and copying it. It is inspiration. Like how many times do you hear the breakdown of like hit songs and someone's like, I heard this and I'm like, I need to use this, or I need to sample this, or recreate this in some kind of way. There's never any, it's very rare when you hear like of someone just come up with something totally from scratch. So
I think it's not to copy.
No, we maybe put too much pressure on ourselves and thinking, oh, I can't copy from this guy. I got to start from scratch. When 90%, 99% of the songs are from other stuff. Yeah,
I think people might see a reference as you're trying to copy something, but it's not really that you're trying to copy it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You're literally just using it to spark off an idea.
Exactly. Copying is literally like what's that YouTuber called, Aiden something, who literally recreate. That's copying. Reference, getting inspiration is just similar vibes, similar feeling, chords, sound selection, but it's not the same.
Because there's only so many chords out there and so many instruments out there, so it's like you can't just come up with a new instrument every time. Like you can manipulate sounds in certain ways, but you listen to a track and be like, I don't like whatever. There's a koto playing like Japanese instrument. It's like, that sounds sick. Like I want to use a koto in this beat, and then you'll, I don't know, create a similar feeling with it. So yeah, it is literally just sparking ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Do you have I think I've asked you this before, but when you sit down and start cooking up, do you have like chords in your head where it's like, oh, I'm gonna work around this progression today, or do you just like click stuff in and then see what sounds right? So I know personally, like I'll try and like I try and purposely not use progressions that I know, but I find myself just doing it without even intentionally doing it. Like I'll build a chord,
like
for
your hands
example,
go
and
to
like
it naturally.
yeah, then I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I know this one sounds good after that, and then I naturally like just follow that same progression that I use all the time.
What scale is that for you?
Not necessarily a scale. In fact, I work a lot in C minor because I know it quite well on a
Hmm.
keyboard. So I can like play, like especially with like melodies, maybe not like full chord progressions and stuff, but C minor, I can play that well. But like the 1 6 5 in a minor progression. So if you're in C minor, it'll be starting with like C and then going down like 4, for example, and then you go down to the fifth. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Sorry, like one
Yeah.
6 5, yeah. So like I use that a lot, and then I also use like the 1 5 where you just like bring it
Yeah,
down
that always
5
slaps.
or up 4. That one always slaps as well. Um, whichever one. Oh, the other one that I always use is finishing on the root note. So if you're in C minor, it
Yeah.
would be like G sharp to G. Well, I guess it would be like A flat to G, then to C. You know, it's like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
goes down a semitone and then down to the root note.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or
literally that.
or like G sharp to F, then down to C. That kind of sounds nice sometimes
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So there's a
Or
few like
like
progressions that I use a lot.
yeah,
I notice with myself, it's usually a scale thing. I always end up pitching roughly to the same couple of scales. Even if I've played it in
Mm,
something lower and I mess around with the
yeah.
pitch, my ear just naturally likes like a certain scale.
what scale is
What
that?
scale is it?
F minor
Kind of,
always slaps.
I was gonna
Is
guess
it?
F or E. I was gonna guess F or E.
Yeah. A lot of the
Yeah,
times it's in F minor and around there, not too far. Sometimes like you might go to a
Right.
B, sometimes you might go to a D, but it's usually around that.
yeah.
But where do you like your 808 notes to hit? Obviously, it's different now making EDM, but if you're making like trap or drill or something, where do you like your 808s to hit?
Can't remember if it was G or D that
It
had
must be
a
D.
good every time you put it
Pause.
there, it just hit.
Yeah.
But it's true though, like certain bass notes, when you go to mix it, it just doesn't hit right if it's in a certain note.
Yeah.
Have you noticed? I think it's F sharp. The spins in F when you hit it in F sharp, it sounds horrible. It like resonates
got a
really
ring
nasty
to
for your
it.
speaker. Yeah, like hurts your ears a little bit. It's one of the keys. I can't remember which key it is, but I think it's F sharp. Zay's similar for that as well. Like it hits on one key and it just doesn't sound good. But yeah,
Like if
C
you're using
minor.
anywhere from like B to E, that's like the sweet spot for an 808. Sometimes
Yeah.
A sharp, but sometimes that's almost like a bit too low as well. But if you're using like C to like B to E, tends to sound good there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
On like that
it
first
depends on
note,
the
'cause
yeah, that first note
Mm.
has to hit for sure. Like when it drops,
Yeah.
like that first hit has to punch you in the chest. But I guess it just depends on
Yeah.
the chord progression, doesn't it? Like if you're doing what you said earlier, where you start on like G sharp down to G, then down to C.
Mhm.
Sometimes you might want to start lower, maybe go like C sharp down to C, and then end on
Yeah.
whatever note, but go
G
end
or
on a higher
something.
note. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends on what you're starting on, I guess.
Yeah, because even like the key of a song can determine like the weight of a song almost, or like how deep a song feels. Because if you think like every note has a certain frequency, doesn't it? So if you're playing in a key that's a bit higher up, you're naturally gonna lose a bit of lower energy, depending on the progression, obviously. But in most situations, it's like if you're playing like higher up in the scale, you're not gonna have like as much weight because you're not using as many of the bottom notes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like tricky to explain, but an engineer was breaking it down for me when he was like mixing like a full song in front of me, and he was just saying how like if you're trying to like certain artists will work around certain keys just because they get that bottom, that weight, because most of
Yeah.
like the weight in a song comes from the low end, so they want to like use notes like around there just so they get that thickness of it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think some people don't think it's important, but I think like once you've actually been making music for a while, maybe you go through that phase of not thinking it's that important. But after a
Yeah,
while, you're like, okay, no, it's really important because, like you say, it just carries the whole weight of the song.
yeah. Sometimes you
Yeah,
think your beats out slapping, and then you pitch them down a few semitones, and it's like, there it is.
Yeah,
there it is.
100%.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But when you don't know any of that, do you? You just like wherever the 808 note goes, you're just gonna use it, and then you're wondering why it's not hitting, and then
Mm.
sometimes it's as simple as that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like when you keep making beats, yeah, you're learning music theory and you don't even know it.
Yeah,
You start to notice the patterns. Like for example, you play C and you play E, and you hear like how that sounds between each other, like a third.
mm-hmm.
Or you play the C and you play the G, and you hear how that sounds between each other as a fifth. You start to pick up on the little things, and then you realize, oh yeah, this works. These two don't work.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, 100%. And it's like you don't really even need to know the theory behind it, but you kind of do know the theory behind it. Like
Yeah,
you said, you
like
hear
you
it,
might
but
not
you
know the
don't know
why.
like how to explain it. It's not like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I think that's kind of tricky sometimes as well when you're trying to teach. You could just do it off by heart with like purely through muscle memory, but to actually put it into words is a whole nother
mm-hmm.
is a whole nother thing by itself.
Yeah. I used to do that when I did like a year of music of piano lessons. So part of it was like learning intervals by ear. So she'd play like C, like you said, Ocean, and then play E, or then play F, and then I'd have to like listen and tell her whether it's like a third or a fifth or whatever the interval was. So that could be helpful, but like I think you get the best practice out of just making beats.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
I did
just
all
doing
that
it.
theory practice with her and everything, but I don't know. I got my best practice from just like making beats, like
yeah,
using loops so you
100%.
can figure out the bass notes and then making melodies. It's way better than anything that you can learn
Because
in piano lessons, I think.
it's like, how do you now put that into practice? She plays you the C, she plays you the F. What is that? A fourth. Okay, but what do you do with that fourth? Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah,
how does that
exactly.
make sense now? It's good to
Yeah.
know, but if you can't apply it, and that's like the more important thing. It's
Yeah.
kind of
It's
I don't want to say it's useless, yeah, because subconsciously you will apply it, but it's all about how you know what to do with it next.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like learning the rules before you go in. It's like in a less safe environment, it'd be like learning to drive without learning. You just go out and do it.
Yeah.
But then obviously it's important to have the lessons before, so you can kind of know not to pull
Gosh,
out,
yeah.
pull out on someone or go the wrong way around a roundabout, which you would learn if you just went and did it. But
Yeah.
probably gonna go for a few cars before you get there. But yeah, I guess it
The
kind
only
of
thing it
applies.
helped with at the time, I'd say, is like dissecting music. So when my ears weren't really trained and I was just really trying to dissect music and beats and think about what progressions they're using. So you'll listen to a beat and then you'll hear like the bass note up here and then it'll go down. So it's like, oh, that kind of sounds like it's going down 3 semitones.
Yeah.
And then you'll kind of find like the bass patterns and then you build the progressions off that. So it can
Yeah.
kind of help with that. But again, you can just like pull in a beat and just listen to it and then follow the bass notes on your keyboard and then see what matches, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, and do it that way.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. Sometimes, because most of the time that's easy, and like, obviously we've got an ear for it now. But sometimes I don't know about you, when you're listening to a sample and like you want to figure out the bass notes, and it's like some intricate chord progression, like jazzy chords, like ninth chords and everything, and it's like an older sample. Sometimes I just can't figure out the bass. It takes me ages
Yeah.
to do it by ear. Sometimes I'll have to just pull it into
Definitely.
like Melodyne or something. I'll just find the find the chords that way.
Yeah, that can happen.
I
Because
remember
obviously
there
there's
was
inversions, isn't there? So you have like the
yeah
root note isn't always at the bottom. So sometimes you're really hearing that bottom note, but that's not actually the root note. So it messes
Yeah.
with you. And like you
Put the
said, if you've got
808 there
jazzy
and it's
chords
not.
where,
Yeah.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
definitely done that before.
I remember we was in a session, weren't we, Jay, with Dangerous Dave, and
Yeah.
we had a sample. I think Session Nolan sent us a sample, and it was a chord progression. It finished on the root, and then we were
Okay.
there putting the 808. Do you remember it was the song, the Volcanoes, the Volcano
Oh
song?
yeah,
We
I was
kept saying
listening to
Volcano.
that today. Weirdly enough, had it on in
Oh,
the
was
gym.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that one. I think it was that one. And we did the 808s and was like, why is this not working? It's just, dude, we could not figure out the last note, and then eventually it was just the root note.
It's because sometimes you're hearing. I do this a lot. Like sometimes I think it's a note, but I'm actually hearing the top note of the chord.
Top note, yeah.
Yeah. Like you listen and it's like, oh, that's matching. That's it. But something's off, and then usually the top note of a chord is like 7 notes up, isn't it? Depending on the chord you're creating. But if you're in that situation, then you can just pitch the 808 down like 7 semitones, and then you're probably at the root note. It's something to try anyway, because that's the exact thing we did in that session, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. That's it, yeah. Because your brain, especially when you're playing the 808s up high to hear it, your brain can kind of hear the top note more easily than
it's
the root.
like strings playing or something, and you naturally just, the high frequencies just stand out, don't they? So you're naturally trying to match it to that high frequency, but you got to listen to the low ones.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky sometimes.
You know what I do as well? Like still to this day, I did it the other day actually. So when I'm at home cooking up, like I won't get things like out of key. Like I'm fine, but then as soon as I go into like a new setup, or if I'm on like a live stream, for example, and maybe just like a bit of pressure on, it's like your brain just stops working.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still get shit like out of key. Then I did it in a session the other day because it's like new setup, not hearing things I usually hear it. Adding notes in and just everything sounded weird. Luckily I was with like a musician. He's like, oh no, I played this chord and that chord. I was like, all right, cool. I'll just tap it in. But for some reason my brain just stops working in different environments.
So sometimes the monitors though. Like I notice if I sit here and if I stand back, it sounds like a completely different note. I remember we did this at Signature when I was sitting close. It sounded completely on, but as soon as I got up and someone else was messing around, it sounded completely off.
Yeah, because we've definitely done that in sessions where like one of us has been working, and then as soon as you like say if I've been putting in an 808 pattern and then someone else takes the driver's seat and I'll sit back, I'm like, wait a minute, I think I fucked up the 808s there, let me go back. It's like, it's weird, isn't it? I wonder if it's to do with the reflections off the wall, because I think the monitors are just hitting the wall like instantly and then bouncing back, and they travel in all different directions. I wonder if there's like a phasing issue, or we're just, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, maybe.
Not too sure why.
Yeah, it's strange.
So there's a science behind it, or we're just in our own heads because we're actually like working on the song.
I think it is something happening. Because it's definitely, it's almost like 2 completely different notes, even though nothing has moved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had like high, like for your first few sessions maybe, like been like super nervous and it just fucks up your whole workflow? You know, like you're at home studio, you can cook up anything, and then you go to like your first session with either like another producer or like an artist, and then all your ability just goes out the window. You ever had that?
Kinda. I definitely work better like by myself at home. Like I make my best beats just here by myself. So when you're in a session, there's like a certain level of pressure on, because I don't know, you've got someone watching you there. Like at home, if I'm making a beat, I might spend like 2 hours just working on something. But in a session, you're just trying to make something quick, aren't you? So I'm not always the best at like coming up with a good melody like really quick. So yeah, I do that for sure.
I actually feel like I work good under pressure.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like some of my best beats have come from being in sessions.
Yeah.
And it would be something that I would never have made at home by myself.
Yeah.
Based on like what they've asked me to do.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think when you're in sessions, it kind of it can go one of 2 ways, but I know what you mean. It's like you kind of cut all of your overthinking out, and then you just send it, and then a lot of times it just turn out a lot better than what you'd have made. Maybe it turned out similar with just by yourself, and maybe you might have overcomplicated it and made it added too many sounds, or you just didn't follow the same like thought path. But yeah, when you got an artist there, you can just kind of cook up, and then if they hear something, you can switch it out, but you normally can just fly through it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I guess it's like beat battles we've done, you know, where we've done those in-person ones. You kind of forced to cook up. You got no time to overthink them. So sometimes you surprise yourself with what you can do under pressure.
Yeah. I think the best one the most like satisfying one I've done would be the Amsterdam beat battle one when we did the sample flip challenge, because we added like we had
I
to
don't
use
remember
like
what we made.
we had to use an instrument in the studio, and we got Rhodes, so we had to use the Rhodes. But normally we get a sample and then like try and flip it and then add drums, whereas this time we still had the sample, but it was like, okay, let's start with the Rhodes, just come up with a really solid hard melody, and then we'll make the sample fit into the you know, the feeling, the vibe we get with the Rhodes, and the beat just turned out way better. We made like a real hard, like trappy, like my kind of style beat, like slow, like hard Zay, and then we switched it, did like a whole tempo automation, made it quicker, and then Jack and 7 Inc and Lincoln, they kind of added like the second part, and yeah, that was a sick one.
Yeah, I missed out on that. I don't know if I heard the beat. Oh, I might have seen it in a video. I would have watched the videos from that trip.
To be fair, the Berlin one was good as well. You know, the one we did.
Oh yeah, that one
When you
turned
came
out
to
sick
that one.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like drill. Did it start with drill and then it turned into trap or something like that?
Or maybe the other way around. I think it started trap and then we did the drill section too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, drill's always good for beat battles, man. It's
definitely.
Yeah. I think sexy drill would work for a beat battle as well, because they go hard. Like the percussion just sounds sick for that kind of style.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
It depends on the battle, doesn't it? It depends what the intention is. If you're just trying to make like the hardest beat ever, like the most energy ever, then I don't know. But if you're trying to, sometimes you'll have a battle where it's like, right, let's make a placement type beat for this battle, or who can create the nicest vibe, or it depends what the intention is.
Yeah, that's true.
Ocean, you hosted one, or you were a judge at one, right, with Signature. Was that purely drill, that one, or was that open to anything?
It was open to anything, but I'd say most of them was drill.
Were they?
Yeah, but it was very beat battle-ish. It wasn't very placement-ish. One of the guys had, I think it was from Peaky Blinders, he chopped up like some of the dialogue, but it was like a diss to the other producer.
Oh,
it was really good.
Sick.
It was really
cool.
good.
Yeah. Did you see Simon Savida tried to do a beat battle, like an anonymous one?
Oh
He,
yeah,
like, went out in the first round.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
It was good. It was a good video. It was entertaining. It was quite funny. Yeah, he put like those woolly balaclavas, like Yeet kind of style.
Oh, I saw the thumbnail, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. So yeah, he went to this
he went
beat
out
battle.
first round.
Yeah, played against. To be fair, I thought his beat was better, but he got voted out, and then just lost straight away. And then he made it quite a funny video, because he like went home to his parents, like started crying and everything. Yeah, it was good though.
Yeah, beat battles are a whole other ball game. Like those, like actual in-person beat battles. A lot of people that came up through the battle scene like a while back, didn't they? Especially, like a lot of Toronto ones. Wasn't like Boy Wonder one of them, and
Wonder Girl.
Wonder Girl. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. I think like in your head before you do your first beat battle, you kind of think you're good with it, especially when there's a time limit. You're like, it's fine. Like I know my process. I'm good with it. It's not until you, like when we was doing the first few sample flip challenges, it's not until you start doing it, the pressure like hits different, and then stuff goes wrong. Like you're clicking in the wrong notes, like FL, clicking the wrong stuff. You're loading up the wrong VST, which cuts into your time. And
it's pressure, man.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Right, boys. Saying, should we wrap up there?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's call it.
Cool. Well, yeah, LOB's got the new Mellotron kit dropping tomorrow, don't you? So obviously we'll leave links to that.
Yep. It'll be out already.
Will it? Okay.
This goes
because this will be out on Monday. All right, cool. So we'll leave links to that. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.